Welcome to Talking Heads on USA Global TV, starring the one and only wonderful Dr. JACALYN. It's a prestigious place where world-class influencers and experts meet, and where you'll find the most trusted advisors and coaches for all things in life and business. Visit usaglobaltv.com to sign up for our newsletter, get the value you need, and be first in line to learn about events and giveaways and other valuable content. Connect with us. Email Dr. JACALYN at usaglobaltv.com to talk about how you can become part of USA Global TV. That's USA Global TV, where the doctor is always in.
Hello and welcome to USA Global TV and radio. It is official as of last Friday. We have our own radio channels as well, so that people all over the world can have their choice to watch or listen. So we're very grateful. I'm Dr. JACALYN KERBECK, and our show today is The Listening Mentor. The Listening Mentor is me. That's right. That is my branding, The Listening Mentor, because I help people listen at an elevated level. And actually, we have our next course coming up for those people out there who are in relationships that are not working, or they feel like they don't have very deep connections, or there's not having authentic conversations. You have an opportunity to change all that by signing up for the Power of Listening Foundational Courses Parts 1 and 2. We are offering them on Tuesday, April the 19th at 11 a.m. Eastern Time, which is 4 p.m. British Summer Time. You can find out more on my website, drjacalyn.com. Each and every week, I have the pleasure and the honor and privilege of being joined by someone who helps people take their stress and just get rid of it. Goodbye, stress. She is the Harley Street stress expert. She's joining us from London, and her name is Caroline Heward. Let's welcome her to the show. Hi, Caroline.
Hi. Happy Easter. Happy Good Friday.
Yes, happy Good Friday, happy Easter, happy Passover. I think there's a lot of religious holidays coming up either now or in the near future. So we wish everyone the best, whatever it is you're celebrating, do enjoy. Caroline, I've asked you this before, and I'm going to ask you again. What is Harley Street, and what do you do as a stress expert?
Harley Street is the famous street in London that's known Europe-wide as the street where all the good doctors and alternative or complementary therapists hang out and work. You have to have a license to practice there. So that means that the medical board in Harley Street in the various locations have crawled all over my credentials to say that, yes, I am who I say I am and can do what I say I can do. Why Harley Street? Well, I thought, well, if I was going to do this kind of work, that I'd work from the best place so that my credentials were good. Stress expert. Well, I've been doing this work for 22 years, so I guess I would be an expert after that length of time. And stress. Why stress? Well, that's because I cured just my own stress, and I came from the corporate world of all the things that I didn't handle in my family, in my personal life, and in my work life. And why do I continue doing this? Because it makes a difference. It changed my life, and I want to help people change their lives. And what do I mean by stress? It's anything you're complaining about. So whether it's physical, emotional, mental, whether it's behavioral, whether it's the way that you respond or react in your relationships, whether it's stress in terms of your relationships, something's not working, bereavement issues, it's whatever is not working for you, whether it be physical, emotional, mental, or behavioral. I identify root cause, and that will literally dissipate the experiences that you have of stress and literally moves you into a deep, peaceful level of relaxation and connection to the heart, which gives you an incredible night's sleep. So that's me.
Yay. Thank you for sharing that. That sounds like something we all need. We've got a comment from our friend Adam. Nice to see you with us again, Adam. Hello, all. I know exactly what you mean when anxiety is involved. This is what I do. Yes, why he does what he does. He helps people with anxiety and mental health awareness. So thank you, Adam, for being here. So, our topic today is about anxiety and relationships. And when we're in a relationship, and I know I personally have been in relationships like this where there's just a lot of drama. And whether I created the drama or the other person created the drama, I remember many, many years ago, a family member said, "You're just drawn to the drama." And I kind of was offended by that. And then I thought about it later. I thought, it's actually true. Now I have a drama free life, which is amazing. But that's not always the case. So, Carolyn, would you give us an in depth overview of what anxiety is and what happens when we allow it to permeate into our relationships?
Of course. This is a nice one for me to handle. What happens when we're feeling a level of anxiety is that we're thinking about future events, situations, conversations, circumstances. Anxiety lives in the mind in our future tense. So it's what we're complaining about. What about this? What about that? What about if I do this, that might happen? And if I don't do that, this might happen. And if that happens, then this happens. And it's kind of all of the what ifs, the scenario that you're playing through in your mind that actually hasn't happened. It's all played out in your mind. Now, a lot of us play out these kind of movies in our mind without the other person even being aware of it. And we can work ourselves up into a real stupor of, oh, well, he'll think this about me or she'll think that about me. And if I don't do this and if I don't do that. And what happens is that you've played out a whole set of scenarios and responses that you think the other person might give you. And none of them have actually happened. And so then you go into that exchange in the relationship, coming from that place of all those built up anxieties and stresses that you've been experiencing through the movies that you've played in your mind. The other person has no awareness of all those scenarios that you've played out in your mind. And that when you play out those scenarios, the body does not know what's real or imagined. And because the body does not know if it's real, it literally starts to feel the stress. So if you are anxious about a new date, for instance, that will come out in the way that you react and respond to the other person. If you are nervous that you're going to be attacked, that will come out and you'll carry the vibration of looking or experiencing yourself as the victim, and the other person will pick that up. And so whatever you're experiencing internally actually expands into your external world, and the other person will pick up on that frequency that you are in. So if you're anxious about something, whatever you are anxious about and playing out in your mind as, oh gosh, this might happen or that might happen, the other person picks up at an energetic level and they will respond to you at that energetic place without you even saying anything, because they will feel what's going on for you and they will respond accordingly. So my hot tip for you in terms of going into that anxious place is to, when you start to experience the mind going into overdrive, is to literally become aware. Become aware that your mind is playing the movies and it's not real. It's all in your mind. And when you become aware, and it's about becoming your own witness, when you become your own witness and become aware, that's when you can change behavior. And when you notice it, to be a witness changes everything, because then you can choose to not be in that space of going through all the role plays and situations and circumstances that haven't happened, and for you to move into the heart. And the fastest way to move into your heart is to take a breath, to breathe down into your belly, and literally it clears the mind. To literally take a long breath down into the belly, and the mind dissipates with all thoughts that you thought were there, literally are not present. Another really good tip is to go into your sensories. What do you see? Look around and take in the scenery, take in the detail. What do you hear? Take in the detail of what you hear. Take some moments to listen out for 2 different sounds or 3. What do you smell? Take a moment to be sensory in the smell. What do you feel? And I don't mean feeling sadness, loneliness, heartache. Those feelings are feelings of mind. Feel is sensory feel. How does the shirt feel on my back? How does the wind feel in my hair? How does the sun feel on my face? How does the water feel on my back when I'm in the shower? How does the trousers feel on my legs? So that's sensory feel. It's something you can literally touch. It's a texture. It's an experience. And what do you taste? Did you just have a cup of coffee? Have you had a glass of wine? Just savor the taste in the mouth. And literally all anxiety, whether it be future tense or past, will literally disappear, because all there is what's in the moment of the very moment that you're in. And when you're in the present moment, all there is what you see, hear, smell, taste, and feel. And the breath can take you down into the sensories very quickly.
Thank you, Caroline. That was absolutely beautiful. You know, you could have your own show, don't you? You could just have your own show.
Yeah, we've been talking about this, haven't we?
I know we have. I know there will be a time. Caroline, one thing I would love for you to expand upon when we talk about relationship anxiety, we just mentioned that this is a holiday weekend for many people. And although there's the religious aspect in many ways, there's also getting together with family. And in many times that in and of itself creates anxiety. And there are people who probably still haven't been with their family. This might be the first time. And aside from the awareness that we have about ourselves, how can we prepare ourselves so that we don't cause drama or don't take whatever drama is created and take it to another level when we get into a situation with family and friends getting together in person?
You're right. This is the first time since Christmas that has been a forced situation of a 4-day holiday break where there's an expectation. And when we go into a state of expectation that we place upon ourselves or others place upon us, of being present, because that's what it is with family. And families know you really well. And so they know where your buttons are to press. And it is about you being open to be present with them, to be in the moment with them. Because if you are anticipating or expecting there to be drama, we actually literally create the drama and the arguments and the upset, because we know each other well. You know, we know our family members really well, and they know us, and they know which buttons to press, just like we know which buttons to press. And so my advice, my guidance is, because you know your family really well and they know you, is to come from an elevated place of emotion, to go into a place of gratitude and love and compassion for them being your family, for them being there. There are many people that are not lucky and they're not with their family over this weekend. And that causes all of its own dramas because they are in isolation from their family for different reasons. And so my real big tip is to go from a place of love and compassion and care and kindness, because in this place, when you're resonating from those elevated emotions, then you will then attract those elevated emotions back. If you're smiling at someone, it's really difficult for them to scowl at you. And even if they're not in a great space and they're not happy about something, listen. Actively listen to them, to whatever they're saying. And if you are smiling and being with them and listening from an elevated level of listening, that means not solving their problems, literally listening with intentional listening, with nothing to give back apart from you being present with them and listening. They will feel different, and whatever was going on for them will dissipate. If you go in feeling that something's going to happen, that somebody's going to rear at you, then they will. So go in from an elevated level of emotion, kindness, compassion, and love.
That was magnificent. Perfect. Just what we needed. Growing up, we always had big family dinners on Sundays, and then of course on all the holidays. And then with the pandemic, everyone's in a different place. So now there's actually no celebration whatsoever, except for my birthday, which was so nice. My family came down, and that was really the first time I was with a number of people at the same time. And even I had found myself even thinking about how I had to behave because I wasn't used to being with other people. Even going into the mall, I didn't wear a mask. People are not wearing masks here. And I kind of was like, I wish I had a mask. But it's all this anxiety that comes from being in situations that we haven't been in before. And then you have to make a decision. Am I going to let it overtake me, or am I going to say you made a decision and let's move forward? And in my case, that's what I did.
It's always about our response and our reaction. The world, the external world is the external world, the macro environment, the inflation, sort of the mall, the shops, the people, they're all there. It's always about our interaction that creates our stress. It's literally 90% is how we react and respond that creates our stress, our drama, and our anxiety. The situation is always there. If you're smiling in a situation where somebody is really angry and stressed, it's quite difficult for them to continue an argument or be angry with you if you're smiling at them. It really is. And even if, I can stretch this to being on a phone call. If you do a phone call when they're not seeing you and they're listening to you, if you actually take that phone call in a smile, they will feel the smile and they will respond. I've had some people laughing with me, and they're literally in a space where they're really upset and very anxious and very angry and feeling very desolate. And yet at the end of the call, they're feeling different and they haven't even seen me. And it's because, I'm smiling and being compassionate to them. And so they feel that.
People definitely can sense by your body language and how you're looking at them. And if you're looking at them or you're sort of turned away, it's easy to know at least that someone's not giving 100% of themselves to you. They're not fully present. And that causes anxiety as well. So, and this is something I love to chat about. It just happened again yesterday. Customer service. Okay. Customer service. When you don't get good customer service, it causes a lot of anxiety. And then that anxiety gets pushed back onto the customer service rep. And then it's like you have this situation that needs to be taken care of. And then neither party is actually being effective because they're bouncing off of each other. And that happens in relationships all the time. But for example, yesterday, I noticed that it's pretty hard not to notice that the show got shut down in the middle of the show because there was a problem with the Wi-Fi. So I'm running around like a loon trying to reset the router. So long story short, everything was fine. I used my hotspot, but I got the cable company on the phone. And of course, I knew going into it, it was going to be over an hour because it always is. And at the end, have we resolved your issues? No, you have not actually resolved my issues. And you find yourself and I said to the guy, listen, I'm just going to tell you right now, I'm not taking it out on you. because then I'm taking it from me if I'm reacting in a certain way. But I am going to let you know that no, I am not happy with the service I received. My problems are not resolved. And I know that tomorrow I'll be calling back again for another hour to have another fruitless conversation. So my point is that things happen that we can't control. We have to accept the fact that we can't control and try to find a solution. So in my case, I found a solution. The problem still exists, but it doesn't make sense for me to take it out on that person or for me to get myself to a place where I'm all worked up.
I have been in those situations myself. I used to be with a provider that the service was pretty lousy. I won't mention the brand that I was with because
We're going to put it in the comments. No,
I don't want to be awful. I'm not with them anymore. And I used to say this service is not good. And they would agree with me. You know, they would say that they agree and they will do what they can, you know, when they would like sort of do a boost or they would reset. And then sometimes magically it would work again. But there were times when I'd be in the tech with the tech team, you know, sort of literally on the phone for hours, you know, at a time to try and sort out. And I use the word try very liberally because, you know, it was a suck it and see that they would look at different things. But one of the things I would say to them, which is exactly what you've outlined, is it's not the person's fault. It's a fault of the process. And so it's never personal, you know, so I would do my very best to be kind and considered because it is a human being. And the more kind you are to them and like making a bit of a joke about it, a bit light of it if you can, but at the same time expanding on the seriousness of the issue because it's for your business, that's when, you know, you gain a human experience and equal rapport, and the person will help you, you know, and they will do their best because they know that things fall over. It's the tech, you know, we're human and the tech is only as good as the person that's inputting it. And, you know, it can break down because these things can happen, especially with strange weather that we've been having and when the systems are overloaded. So it's okay, you know, and it's okay to kind of get a little bit cross because even I do, you know, get a little bit angry, you know, sort of to say, this is not good enough. I'm paying for a service. This is not acceptable. You know, and there's frequent times that I've actually been given, you know, sort of compensation straight into my bank account. Twice, in fact, you know, recently with my business bank. So I think the only reason that happened is because that I was being considered and kind, even though there was a problem, you know. So it's amazing what people will do. I've even been sent a big bouquet of flowers from my personal bank for some problems that I had. And they said, you know, we're really sorry. And I do believe that I've been treated like that because I have been very compassionate and considered at the same time as making a complaint.
Wow, look at you with the flowers. I love it. So nice.
That was NatWest that did that. And I can say that because that was so, you know, that was just so beautiful. I was really shocked. You know, this big bouquet of flowers came. And my business banker being just as kind, you know, saying we're really sorry for all the problems and, you know, we're going to put a compensation, an apology fee into your account of £30. I've had £60 put into my account twice last month because there were problems.
That's
and I never asked for it. I just literally said, look, this is really not acceptable, you know, and they said, we agree. You know, we're really sorry.
I think with the cable companies, this is what I think to myself, because it's not just here in the United States, it's everywhere. I think to myself, these poor people in customer service, they have to hear it over and over because every time someone's calling, it's because their service doesn't work. They get routed to this particular department. So that's all day and all night. These people are hearing complaints. So we have to have a little bit of compassion and empathy. I've said to a couple of people over time, do you think maybe you should get a different job?
I've actually had people say to me that I was the most pleasant call they'd had all day, you know, and they've thanked me. And I said, I don't like to complain. Sometimes, when things aren't working, I have to make those kind of calls, and I don't like to make them, but I have to make them. And at the same time, I do feel that it's one human being speaking to another. And I always consider, if I'm on the other side of that, how I'd like to be treated. And there's so many people I've spoken to that said, oh, thank you so much. You really made my day. I was not feeling great, and now I do feel good. And I'm really appreciative of the fact that you've been so kind to me, despite the fact that there's this poor service. So it does work. We're all human at the end of the day, and it's important to consider that when we're speaking to people, whether it's in a good way, of a sort of a compliment as well as a complaint.
Yes, I agree. And I hate to share this because this also happened yesterday. We ordered takeout, and there's a delivery service. I don't know if it's outside the United States, but literally you could go online to this website and people will deliver almost anything. You just put in your food, whatever it is, and then this company delivers it. So the dinner ended up coming relatively quickly, 30 minutes, and nothing was right about it. Undercooked, tasteless, soggy, this, that, and the other. So I thought, you know what? I'm going to call the restaurant and just let them know. I don't want any money. I want them to be aware of the process. So I speak to the first person, then I get to the second person, then I'm on hold. I'm on hold for maybe 18 minutes. I was ready to hang up. So when the manager got on, I shared, hey, I just want to let you know, we order from you on a regular basis, and this is what happens. The food, it's for especially the amount of money. This is not acceptable. And if this keeps happening, you'll probably lose business. And I'm just calling to let you know, because I thought you'd want to hear it before you start losing business. So she did not thank me for the call. She blamed it on the delivery service. So while she was explaining that it was the delivery service's problem, which of course had nothing to do with the fact that the fish was undercooked, but I didn't even go there, because when it comes to customer service and the customer experience, it should have been handled in a different manner. And I thought, she's not on the customer service. She hasn't read the brochure. So I thought, I'm not going to waste any more time. And she also did not thank me for calling in. She seemed rather annoyed. And even though I was very polite, because this was before the cable, if it was after the cable, that might have been a whole other story. But she didn't thank me. And so I made the decision that I'm not going to order from them anymore. I'll keep using the delivery service, but I'm not going to order from them anymore as a result of her and the fact that she didn't take ownership for it. And that's a shame, because the company, that's their brand ambassador. What are your thoughts about that?
Oh, I'm a good one on that one. I will vote with my feet. I will literally, if somebody's given me bad service, I just won't go there. And I will tell them, that if I'm the one that's called you up and told you, how many others don't call you that literally vote with their feet and don't come back for your service? It's huge. It's massive how many companies lose business because of poor service and poor customer service. I must admit, I'm quite surprised to hear that about an American company, because usually in America, it's all about customer service. I mean, it's like an overdrive how considered the customer service is in companies, and that they can't do enough for you. It's quite different in England. We're not quite the same. And when I've certainly done my trainings in America, I've noticed that customer service is really, really, it feels very over the top. So I'm ever so surprised that you've had that experience. And at the same time, you don't want to go there and have that experience again. So you would vote with your feet and you would go somewhere else. Of course you would.
I love that, vote with your feet. I haven't heard that before, but that's a good one. I have not heard that. But, Carolyn, I think something else also, we've been talking on other shows this week about burnout. Actually, last week we had a doctor on talking about it. And I know burnout is real. And especially in the hospitality industry, when you think about what these people have had to go through and, probably had their hours cut. Remember, you couldn't go into a restaurant. So a lot of restaurants had to pivot, and they opened spaces outdoors with big heaters and whatnot. And, people like me who used to go out to dinner literally 4 times a week, I've been out to dinner twice in 2 years. So it's really affected them. So I think that it probably builds on people in that industry that they just don't want to hear any complaints. But if you own that business and you have enough people, like the frontline people interacting with clients, that it's going to impact the business, and the business owner might not even know. They'll find out, but they're not aware during the process, possibly.
It's a very difficult time. We're in extraordinary times in this last 2 years for all businesses, no matter whether they're doing well or not. But there's been a lot of changes that have had to be adhered to in, globally. It's not just one country, it's globally. And it will create a tenseness and a challenge for anyone that's, in those kinds of industries where it's been really suffering, such as the hospitality industry, because it's pretty much, being decimated. It was, you shut your doors, otherwise, you will have a fine, when you're not allowed. And that has obviously impacted people that were dining out, and it's impacted the way that we're living and the way that they're living. And their wages were never good. They were never, good wages. And so to lose that kind of security and stability would be major for the hospitality industry. And so there is a little bit of understanding, I feel, and compassion, for these people that have literally, had their wages taken away from them, their work, their livelihoods taken away for extended periods of time. I do feel for the hospitality industry in a massive way, just the same as, celebrities, pop stars, the concerts, all the music industry has really suffered, not being allowed to play unless they did things online. Even I've gone online, and I wasn't really an online person. Even I have moved online to help people. So it is about understanding and being a little more compassionate about everybody's circumstance. And we're all kind of muddling through. We've never been in a situation like this before, and we're all feeling our way through the changed and extraordinary times that we're living in.
Well said. Caroline, we're talking about anxiety and relationships today as one of our topics. And I'm wondering, what are your thoughts about embracing humor to address anxiety or to overcome anxiety? Some good laughter, some belly laughs, some really heartfelt laughing when you are in a situation where you have anxiety. What do you think about that?
Oh, that's a great idea. I actually have a friend, a really dear friend, that teaches laughter yoga. And she's been desperate to get me on one of her training courses.
Please do. Please do.
I said, oh no, that's just not me. I can't do that. What I do recommend for people is to watch a good comedy, some of the very old-fashioned comedies. They're just really pure, and you literally will belly laugh. The kind of comedies that I grew up with were, they weren't toilet humor. They were really slapstick and funny, lots of innuendo. And I do believe that laughter and humor is a kind of way to manage anxiety and stress. And one of the people that I laughed my way through my childhood was Robin Williams, of the famous movie Mrs. Doubtfire. And I started to grow up with him when he was Mork from Planet Ork. And he was the most funniest man that I've ever seen. And I just literally followed him all the way through his career. And I was shocked that he was actually he had suffered with severe depression and anxiety. And it only came out after he died. And yet he made the world laugh. And so that was his strategy, that he literally, because he didn't feel great, he made people laugh. And there are many really famous celebrities. Norman Wisdom is another one that had a very terrible home life and a really awful abusive background. And yet he went about by making people laugh. That was his whole thing, but he didn't have a great life. And he suffered with serious depression and anxiety. And yet he chose humor and laughter. And so, yes, I totally agree. And even, have you ever been in a situation where somebody's laughed inappropriately, like at a funeral? And that's because it's come out because that's their coping mechanism. So I absolutely, totally endorse laughter, humor, going down into the belly and laughing. That's what children do, and they don't get stressed or anxious because they're just having too much of a good time. And when you laugh, it releases these incredible endorphins that make you feel amazing.
Thank you. I love to laugh. I love movies that are really stupid and silly. It's just, we were watching a movie, again, not as a paid spokesperson, Old School with Will Ferrell. Did you ever see that one?
No, I didn't.
Well, long story short, our family was gathered. This is a long, long time ago. And another family member, myself, were laughing so hard we literally fell off the sofa. I mean, that's it. And no one else in the family was laughing. Literally stone faced, nothing, not even a smile. We were crying, rolling around. And that's the kind of laughter. I mean, we need that. We need that more than ever. I'm not saying that specific movie, but just to be able to cry because we're laughing so hard.
Absolutely, because when you laugh, you just feel different and amazing. I love to laugh, and I'm a bit of a, sort of a tongue-in-cheek person in terms of, I'm always finding, sort of different jokes to share, and it is a part of my nature, to sort of find things to keep me laughing. And certainly when we were locked down in 2020, in the harshest of our lockdowns, there was a lot of people that were in my community online on Facebook that just sent lots of send-up humor memes, which did keep me laughing through a time where I was completely isolated and living alone. And it was, I feel, so rewarding to have somebody consider and be thoughtful to share a meme that was funny, because it would really make me laugh and I would feel different. For sure, if I was feeling a bit lonely, a bit miserable, a bit kind of, woe is me, I'm not able to go out, I'm not able to do my things that I normally do, and there's no one to share that loneliness with when you live alone. Essentially, when I'd have a meme or a joke that was shared and I would be laughing myself silly. I don't know what my neighbours must have thought, because sometimes I'd just be in bits.
Yeah, so this is a great opportunity. I'm going to put you on the spot. What if I spotlight you and you just do some stand-up comedy for us?
Oh gosh. Everything I do is everything I do, really, I find the humorous side to it. Well, I'm just kind of, could I do that? Well, okay then, well, do that and see what comes out, because now I'm really on the spot. Okay, there's a couple, and the man comes home and he turns around to his partner and he says, "I'm home, honey." And he's going, "Right, slam." So the cupboard door slams, and the man says, "It's not such a good day. Did I forget her birthday?" He's thinking to himself. And so he then says, "Honey, is it your birthday?" Bang! "No, it's not my birthday." "Okay." "I know, I forgot your mother's birthday." Bang! "No, you didn't forget my mother's birthday." And so the man is going through all sorts of scenarios, and he really knows that things are not right. So she turns around and she says, "I'm completely okay." And he says, "Honey, you're not okay. What have I done to upset you? Was it our anniversary? What did I forget? There is nothing you've forgotten." And then a few hours later, over dinner and a glass of wine, she pipes up and says, "6 months ago, do you remember when we saw my best friend?" And he's kind of wrangling through his mind saying, "What do you mean 6 months ago? What friend? Which time? you know, the friend that we met at the side of the cinema and you were chatting her up, and I was really upset because you were giving her more attention. And he's going, oh boy, the woman just doesn't forget. She's like an elephant. That the man, generally the masculine energy, is only in the moment, and he can't think about something that happened 6 months ago because he doesn't retain it. So what would you do is you have to ask and you have to wait, because the feminine energy stores it all up, and she will bang doors and slam doors, and your dinner will be in the bin or in the dog because there's something you didn't handle. So listen carefully to the bangs, the I'm fines, because you know what? She really is upset about something. So when she's crossing her arms and when she's holding and banging the drum of the cupboards, know there is something that you did wrong about 6 months ago.
Very good. I love that.
This happens. I mean, it's real. This happens.
It's so true.
It really does.
Oh, and not only that, with women, we can go back years. Well, when we were on a vacation 20 years ago, you did, and the guy's like, what? We save it up and save it up and save it up.
We do. The feminine energy, that's what it does, because it remembers. It's like an elephant. And I've recounted something that will be funny to some because it's familiar. The familiarity is the funny part of it, that it's something that's, gosh, you know, you're right. My wife is like that, or my girlfriend is like that. And we don't like to be like that, but we are. You know, the feminine energy will just store it up and remember it. And the other person, the masculine energy, just doesn't retain it. It doesn't remember. If you give him 3 things to do, he'll get very upset because they only want to do the one thing and focus on that before they do the next thing. And I've seen it myself, you know, so be mindful of the way that the feminine energy stores it all up. Watch out if you didn't sort it out at the time, because it will be brought up. So make sure you draw some lines under it and you work on that basis of keeping it clear. Always clear up things that aren't working, because you know what? It's the best sitcom you'll ever watch is your undealt with issues, because it happens in real life.
Yes, it does. Amen to that. Caroline, always so much fun with you, so much education that you offer and bring. I just want to share with our audience, they have the opportunity to participate in a guided meditation that you lead us through in the elevated listening community. I'm going to put up this graphic. The elevated listening community is an opportunity for everyone to follow along with Caroline. She does incredible guided meditations, and we have fitness tips, we have listening tips, and we also have excerpts from some of the key learnings from the shows of the week. So if you'd like to join us, please go over to drjacalyn.com/join. You will get a link to a video, which will be 35 to 45 minutes. And then you can have the opportunity to check out the video anytime you want. But I send it out at the latest on Monday, usually on Sundays. And Caroline, this week, since it's Easter, are we doing it or not?
Yes, I'm free on Sundays. Yes, I do.
Perfect.
It's Easter
I'll be working
Sunday.
It's Easter Sunday. I'll be working as well. But I do want to put up your contact information. And I know you have a special offer for our audience. So if you could share that, and remember, people, we have new people listening on the radio from all over the world. So just speak everything so that they can know what to do to reach you.
I offer a free Zoom consultation, a free stress buster consultation. So if you have any stress, whether it's physical, emotional, mental, behavioral, a relationship issue, a bereavement issue, whatever it is that you're complaining about, I offer a free 30-minute stress buster. You will feel deeply relaxed by the end of the 30 minutes, and you will feel, you will understand what's causing that stress that's creating the anxiety and stress in your life. I do 1 or 2 symptoms in that free Stress Buster consultation. To book, email me on No More Stress. That's the 3 words as they sound: no, NOMORE, more, stress, STRESS, at live.co.uk. We're in very, very different time zones, global time zones. So it's best to email me and let me know what time works for you, and then we can arrange a time that works for both of us. And I will send you a Zoom link to book in for that free consultation.
Lovely. Thank you for that offer to our audiences. I really do appreciate it. All right, Caroline, we are going to sign off for now because Loving Longevity is coming up right after this. So I wish you a blessed weekend. I look forward to seeing you on Sunday, just 2 days from now.
Thank you. It's been wonderful. Thank you so much.
Thank
It's
you.
been a pleasure.
Namaste.
Happy weekend, everyone.
Happy
Bye-bye.
weekend. Bye. Please do consider going over to the Elevated Listening community and joining us, because Caroline does such a great job. And we also have Mariska Duprier from New Zealand, and we have Madeline Chan from the UK also providing various tips to help us be better listeners. And it starts with listening to ourselves first. All right, I'm going to sign off for now. You stay wherever you are. I'm going to go over to the other studio for Loving Longevity with Annie Bush. And our special guest is another team member here at USA Global TV, Ricky McKenna. And she's going to be sharing with us about foods that are really good for aging well, longevity. All right, we'll see you soon. Bye, Caroline. Thank you.